Imagine someone sitting at their kitchen table late at night, looking at a bank account that says $432. They are not careless, they are not lazy, and they are not ignoring their future. They work, they pay bills, they try to avoid unnecessary spending, and every few weeks, they tell themselves that this time they are finally going to start building real savings. But then the car needs a repair, rent goes up, groceries cost more than expected, a medical bill appears, or a family obligation pulls money away from the plan. By the time the month ends, the account is almost back where it started, and the goal of saving the first $10,000 feels less like a financial milestone and more like a wall that keeps moving backward. My name is Edwin, and welcome to The Wealth Shift. Today, we are talking about why your first $10,000 can feel so difficult. Not because the number itself is magical, but because it represents the first serious battle between your financial intentions and the systems around you. $10,000 is not enough to make someone rich, and it does not remove every financial problem. But psychologically, it can feel like crossing from financial survival into financial control. It is the first amount that looks large enough to create breathing room, yet small enough that many people believe they should already have it. That tension creates frustration, guilt, and sometimes shame, especially in a culture where people are often told that money problems are simply the result of bad discipline. The deeper truth is that the first $10,000 is hard because you are trying to build it while carrying the full weight of instability. When someone already has money, saving more money is often easier because the existing cushion protects the plan. A surprise expense does not destroy the entire month. A delayed paycheck does not create a crisis. A higher grocery bill does not force them to use a credit card. But when someone starts near zero, every small financial shock lands directly on the savings goal. The money being saved is not just savings. It is also the emergency fund, the repair fund, the medical buffer, the family support fund, and sometimes the emotional safety net. That means the first $10,000 is rarely built in a straight line. It is built, interrupted, rebuilt, drained, and rebuilt again. This is why the math feels slower than people expect. On paper, saving $10,000 looks simple. If you save $500 a month, you reach it in 20 months. If you save $1,000 a month, you reach it in 10 months. If you save $250 a month, it takes 40 months, which is a little over 3 years. The numbers are clean, but real life is not clean. Most people do not experience savings as a smooth monthly deposit that never gets touched. A person might save $500 in January, save $300 in February, save nothing in March, then pull out $600 in April because of a car repair. Technically, they were saving, but emotionally, it feels like they failed because the balance does not show the effort. That emotional part matters because money is not just numbers on a screen. Money is feedback. When you work hard and the account balance does not grow, your brain starts to question the entire strategy. It asks, what is the point of budgeting if one emergency wipes it out? What is the point of skipping small pleasures if the savings still look small? What is the point of trying if the number never moves fast enough? This is where financial psychology becomes important. The first $10,000 is difficult because the reward is delayed, but the sacrifice is immediate. You feel the meal you did not buy, the trip you did not take, the upgrade you postponed, and the convenience you gave up right now. But the benefit of having a financial cushion is invisible until something goes wrong. There is also a hidden identity problem built into the first $10,000. When someone has never had a large savings balance before, their mind may not fully believe that money is allowed to stay untouched. A balance of $2,000 or $5,000 can feel strangely available, almost like it is waiting to be used. This is not always irresponsibility. Sometimes it comes from years of living in cycles where money enters and immediately leaves. If every paycheck has always been assigned to bills, debt, groceries, transportation, and urgent needs, then holding money can feel unfamiliar. The person is not only learning to save, they are learning to become someone who does not treat every dollar as temporary. The system around them makes this even harder. Modern life is built around recurring costs, convenience spending, easy credit, and constant comparison. Rent, insurance, phone bills, subscriptions, transportation, food, and debt payments can absorb income before saving even begins. Then social media adds a second layer where everyone appears to be traveling, upgrading, buying, investing, and living better than they actually may be. The result is that saving can feel like falling behind, even when it is the responsible choice. A person building their first $10,000 may be doing something extremely important, but visually, it looks boring. There is no dramatic transformation, no applause, and no obvious status reward. It is quiet progress in a loud economy. The math behind this quiet progress becomes more powerful once you understand the difference between defensive money and productive money. The first few $1,000s are usually defensive. They defend you from overdraft fees, late fees, high-interest debt, panic borrowing, and forced decisions. If your car breaks down and you have no savings, the cost may not just be the repair. It may become credit card debt, missed work, late payments, or a loan with bad terms. But if you have savings, the same repair is still annoying, yet it does not become a financial spiral. That means early savings may not feel like growth because its main job is preventing collapse. You may not notice what it saved you from, but that protection is real. This is why the first $10,000 often creates more psychological change than financial change. A person with $10,000 still needs income, still needs a plan, and still needs to manage risk, but they often begin to think differently. They can make decisions with a little less fear. They can compare options instead of reacting instantly. They can say no to certain bad deals. They can wait for a better opportunity. They can absorb a problem without turning it into a crisis. That is the hidden power of the threshold. It does not make life easy, but it reduces the number of moments where life forces you into the most expensive choice. Historically, this idea has shown up again and again. People and businesses with even a small reserve tend to have more flexibility than those operating at the edge. A shopkeeper with cash reserves can buy inventory at a discount, survive a slow month, or repair equipment without closing down. A household with savings can move for a better job, handle a temporary income gap, or avoid borrowing at high interest. In every era, capital has not only been about wealth, it has been about options. The first $10,000 is one modern version of that principle. It is a personal reserve that begins to separate short-term pressure from long-term decisions. But to reach it, many people need to stop thinking of savings as one giant mountain and start thinking of it as a sequence of smaller thresholds. The first $1,000 is not small when it prevents the next emergency from becoming debt. The first $2,500 is not small when it gives you a little room to breathe. $5,000 may represent 1 month or more of basic expenses for some households, and that can change the way a person sleeps at night. $10,000 is the visible milestone, but the real transformation happens through repeated evidence that you can build, protect, and rebuild money over time. This also means the path has to be realistic. For many people, the answer is not extreme deprivation. Cutting every small joy can create burnout, and burnout often leads to rebound spending. A more sustainable approach is to create a system where savings happens before money gets absorbed by the rest of life. That could mean an automatic transfer on payday, a separate account that is harder to touch, or a clear rule that a certain percentage of every paycheck moves into savings before spending decisions begin. The exact amount depends on the person's income, obligations, and household situation, but the principle is the same. The money needs a destination before the month starts negotiating with it. At the same time, expenses matter, especially the ones that repeat quietly. A single subscription may not change your life, but 10 small recurring payments can create a permanent leak. A car payment that is too large can trap future income before it arrives. Credit card interest can turn past spending into a tax on the present. Housing costs can determine whether saving is realistic or constantly strained. This is not about judging people's choices. It is about understanding that the first $10,000 is often blocked not by one dramatic mistake, but by a structure of small commitments that leave no margin. Income also matters, and it should be discussed honestly. There are situations where budgeting alone cannot do the whole job. If the gap between income and essential expenses is too small, then saving $10,000 will be slow no matter how disciplined someone is. In that case, the financial problem is not just spending behavior, it is margin. Increasing income, changing roles, learning new skills, negotiating pay, adding careful side income, or reducing major fixed costs may become part of the equation. None of these are instant solutions, and none are guaranteed, but they recognize the reality that wealth building depends on the distance between what comes in and what must go out. The identity shift comes when a person stops seeing the first $10,000 as proof that they are good with money and starts seeing it as infrastructure. It is not a trophy. It is not a personality statement. It is not something to compare against strangers online. It is a tool that creates stability. When viewed this way, saving becomes less emotional and more mechanical. The goal is not to feel rich. Aish. The goal is to reduce fragility. The goal is to make the next problem less destructive than the last one. The goal is to slowly move from reacting to planning. So if your first $10,000 feels impossible, it may not mean you are failing. It may mean you are in the hardest stage where every dollar has to fight through instability before it can become long-term capital. The beginning is slow because the beginning carries the most pressure. But each layer of savings changes the system slightly. $1,000 can interrupt panic. $3,000 can soften emergencies. $5,000 can create breathing room. $10,000 can begin to change how decisions feel. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, accountant, attorney, or tax professional. Nothing in this video should be taken as personal financial advice. Everyone's financial situation is different, so always do your own research and consider speaking with a qualified financial professional before making decisions about investing, debt, taxes, credit, or retirement accounts. If this helped you see money a little differently, subscribe to The Wealth Shift and comment below with the first savings threshold you are working toward.